3x plus 2x equals 20. Gee whiz, how do we solve a problem like this? Well, it's really actually pretty easy. The first thing is I want to make sure you don't worry about the big scary words. So this is probably in a chapter title called Linear Equations. Linear equations. Roar. Look, don't worry about these big scary words. I didn't know this when I was in algebra. I thought that these words mattered, but they don't. They're not on your exams. They're not on your quizzes. They're not on your tests. You don't really use them in your homework for anything. So what I'm going to invite you to do is to ignore all the big scary words at the beginning of your chapter, the chapter title, the section title. You'll hear your math teachers say this from time to time, but you can ignore the big scary words. In this case, the big scary word is linear equations. The first hump in working an algebra problem is to totally ignore the linear equations. So if you look over here at Mr. Camel, in the lower right, you're seeing I'm drawing a mark, a jump mark, over the first hump. And that first hump is ignoring the words. I know it's hard to believe, but it's actually great news. You don't need to learn these words. If they blow your mind, if they're meaningless, if you're lost in space, just ignore the words. All you got to do is learn to do the problems. And you can see I'm making a little mark over the second hump. And the second hump is just working these problems. Up here in the top, I've got a shark and a Tyrannosaurus Rex just to make fun of these big scary words. So I call this shark the great word shark and this dinosaur the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Get it? Aren't I hilarious? Anyway, the point is these things are just up here to scare you. The shark and the dinosaur, they scare you with big words. Linear equations. And I'm telling you, you don't have to worry about them at all. So that's a big relief. All you have to do is learn how to work the little problems. And that's why we have Fluffy Piggy here. And Fluffy Piggy says just work the problems and they're really easy. And I tend to agree with Fluffy Piggy. All we have to do is learn how to work the problems. And they're pretty easy. Surprisingly, this is going to blow your mind, but most algebra problems are just addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And you've been doing that since, what, first, second, third grade. So these are easy, and let's work them together, and you're going to be amazed how easy this is. So whenever we're working with equations, we can always do the same thing to both sides. Anytime we want, we can add something to both sides, as long as we do the same thing to both sides. We can subtract something from both sides, as long as we do the same thing to both sides. We can multiply, and we can divide, or we can divide both sides by a number, as long as we do the same thing to both sides. So let's see what we have here. The first thing you want to do is just simplify what's written already, and then maybe we'll isolate x. Whenever you see some equation like this, ultimately you're probably going to want to solve for x, which means to get x by itself, or isolate x, which means to get x by itself on one side of an equation. So here we have 3x plus 2x equals 20. Well, 3x plus 2x simplifies to 5x. Okay? So if you've got 3 of anything plus 2 of anything, you have 5 of whatever that is. Okay? Is that not true? So like 3 apples plus 2 apples is 5 apples. 3 lemons plus 2 lemons is 5 lemons. 3 times any number plus 2 times any number is the same as 5 times that number. Okay? So 3x plus 2x simplifies to 5x. And now we can use that method of adding, subtracting, dividing, doing the same thing to both sides of an equation. In this case, I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Why would I do that? I divided both sides by 5. And the reason is because this term 5 divided by 5 is going to simplify to 1. Because anything divided by itself is 1. So 5x over 5 is the same as 1x. You see that? This term right here, 5 over 5, that simplifies to 1. And then the x just stays the same. So 1 times x, just to make sure, just so you see this is a 1 right here. 1 times x is equal to whatever's on the right side of the equation, 20 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So 1x equals 4. Another way to say that more simply is just x equals 4. And that is the solution to our problem. X equals 4. We could just stop right there. That is the solution. But if we want to make sure we didn't make a mistake, we can take this solution and plug it back into the original equation, the original problem, and see if it holds true. And that way we'll make sure that our solution is correct and we didn't just make a human error. So I'm going to rewrite the original problem, 3x plus 2x equals 20. And then I'm going to plug in our solution for x, and we'll see if it holds true. Boy, that is one bad arrow. But anyway. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to plug it in. 3 times, and then for x, I'm going to plug in our solution, which is 4, plus, now the 2 times, instead of x, I'm going to plug in our solution, which is 4, okay, equals 20. All right, so 3 times 4 simplifies to 12, plus 2 times 4, that simplifies to 8, and that equals 20 on the right side. I'm not changing anything, I'm just rewriting it. So that's good. And now let's simplify the left side. 12 plus 8. Well, 12 plus 8 is 20. And on the right side, once again, I'm just rewriting it. Nothing changed over there. 20. Okay, now look at this equation. We're saying 20 equals 20. Well, that checked out. That was true. So that means when we plugged in our solution of x equals 4 into the original equation, it checked. So that tells us that our solution of x equals 4 is correct. And I'm going to give us an A+.
Thumbs up and subscribe. For more videos like this, check out algebravideos.com.